Welcome, everyone. How are you guys today? Iris and Mileidy here. And today's topic, I think it's one that came out of a meeting that I was in. And we were talking about how sometimes our faces will say how we feel. And
Mhm.
sometimes we're trying to mask our feelings and we go through that process of masking, but our face cannot hide. And somebody in the meeting said something and it kind of triggered me to think about the other day. My daughter was like, Mommy, you look sad. And I said, I'm not sad. I'm okay. And she goes, you look sad. And usually I would have probably just kind of let it go or now she's just thinking that whatever. But then I said, you know what? What is it going on? And I started analyzing a little bit. What am I thinking about? What am I watching? What am I reading? And I didn't tell you this, but I started reading a new book or hearing. I use Audible a lot. I started hearing a new book, and it's really a sad story. And I started noticing every time I hear it, I just have this face afterwards. And technically, no, I'm not sad. Nothing is happening that's making me sad. But I guess it's kind of lingering. The story's lingering. And
Yeah.
then I started saying, why am I doing
Yeah. Why are you punishing yourself? Why are you making suffering in your mind?
this? Actually, why am I making my mind suffer? Why am I putting myself in this situation? And it came out of literally like honing in on me and saying, okay, what's going on? And kind of putting the pieces together. Because how many times doesn't that happen, Iris, that the pieces are kind of scattered and we don't see them until we kind of breathe and analyze and put them together.
Let me tell you, you just reminded me of something that I'm doing to myself. Two things I was doing to myself that were very detrimental to my subconscious. And you cannot fool your subconscious because your subconscious is going to show up no matter what you do or who you are or where you are. It's going to show you what you're doing to yourself. One of the things was that I'm not a social media person, but um, I was being consumed. I put myself to too much of what was going on in the world lately, and it was sucking my energy to the point that I wouldn't realize 2 3 hours later, in my brain feeling like a egg being shaken,
Scrambled.
scrambled egg, and what's going on? Like what? Every day for a while until I said to myself, what are you doing to yourself, Iris? Why are you doing? I don't watch news for over 30 years. What are you doing this now? So I had to take a really good pause with myself and make the decision to take me out of those social media and close all those accounts because it is my responsibility to protect me, to protect my inner peace, my sense of self, right? The other thing that you just reminded me, which is why I'm laughing, I start watching scary movie for very, very long time. The
Uh-huh.
day I realized that, wait a minute, I take myself to the movie. I pay for my ticket. I watch the movie by myself. Then I take myself home and I cannot go to sleep. So I start watching movie. I'm like, what are you doing to yourself? Another pause, right? That was years ago that I did this, that I haven't watched movie like in 30 years, a scary movie. But now that I have more control, that I'm more in tune with who I am and my emotions, and now I can disconnect from a scary movie to my life, to myself, I started watching scary movie again. And though I can sleep, it don't take my sleep away. At the moment that I'm watching it, my subconscious is responding because I'm putting fear into
Yeah.
my subconscious, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, Iris, what are you doing? Yesterday
Again.
I was watching this movie that I literally had to stop 10 minutes later because it was that intense
Yeah.
about an Airbnb,
Airbnb.
Airbnb movie in Detroit. Is this girl? The movie seems so real to my subconscious that really was struck me that big.
Yeah.
So we have to learn. We have to learn to set boundaries to ourselves, to respect how we feel. and
Yes.
take pause from those moments that takes our peace away and become mindful. Like your daughter, mommy, your face doesn't look,
Happy.
what's going on?
Yeah.
Happy. What's happening?
Yes. And becoming aware. And it's funny. Um, so many thoughts came to my head at once. I'm sorry. But
Yeah,
it's
mine
funny.
too.
It's funny because in customer service, one of the things that you do, most if you're doing phone customer service, a great technique to do is to put a mirror in front of you. Because if you look happy and if you're smiling when you're on the phone, that actually comes through to the other line, even though
Yes, it felt,
it's
it feel like the energy.
it comes out. And it's the same thing with protecting ourselves. And that this kind of was an aside. But when it comes to protecting yourself, protecting your psyche, and you're very right with watching scary movies and things like that. I mean, my story with the book, with the
Or the
vision,
news, or watching news.
watching the news. With the news, what I always say is yes, that I don't want to get political, but voting and things like that are important. So that way, we did what we could. But once we've done what we can, and we really cannot do much else other than
Wait,
protest is needed or whatever.
pause,
Pause, wait, relax. As we um,
relax.
relax, or pause, or wait, or protest is if needed, and if it's there. Um, keeping watching the news and staying in that turmoil every day. These news channels know what they're doing.
Yeah,
They want views, and they know that through fear, we'll watch them more.
exactly. And it
And
suck us because then we
it
want to
sucks
know
us
what
in.
happened. And what happened is like playing the lotto, or the scratch ticket that almost
You stay
there.
addicted.
So it take you to buy more because you think you. So
Yeah, definitely. With movies and shows and books, like my story with the book that I'm reading, it's not scary. It's sad, right? It's a sad story, but what are we putting ourselves through, right?
yeah,
And really asking yourself, how is this affecting you? Your subconscious does not know if it's real or
exactly.
not. And as much as, like you said, I felt like I have more control, I can do this. But then all of a sudden you're like, I'm putting myself in the middle of this. What am I doing?
Yeah. What am I
Yeah.
doing? What am I doing to my inner being,
Yeah.
to my child self, to the peace in me? What am I doing? Doing putting fear inside of me, and treating me this way when I am responsible for me.
I am responsible for me. I think, that is a great, great place to kind of end this with that quote. I wish we could just put it across, I am responsible for me. And what am I doing
That's
to me?
beautiful. I want to put it on a shirt. I am
There you go.
responsible for me. Thank you, me lady. I'm going to
Boom.
use that for a shirt.
There
Look at
you
that.
go. Cricket.
Literally.
um, So what do you think about what are some ways that sometimes without noticing you are putting yourselves in situations where you're making your mind work harder to get you back to stability? What are you doing? What do you do when that happens? How do you study yourself? Beautiful. I hope you have a wonderful day. And Iris, your favorite phrase?
Be good to yourself.
Be
Pick
good
and
to you.
choose what you're going to give to you and throw away what's not giving you peace. Be good to yourself.
Beautiful. Stay peaceful. Bye.
Bye.